Hi guys, welcome back. So today we'll be looking at our Game Week 13 watch list. So some players we may want to keep a lookout for and maybe even bring into our team. So if you're new around here, please help me out and click that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by Christmas. So yeah, please help me out with that and let's get straight into it. So first up we have Bernardo Silva. Now I think he's someone we kind of overlooked the past couple of weeks just because we're also focused on Phil Foden. But it's become harder and harder for us to just toss Bernardo Silva by the side with the form he's in at the moment. He's picking up a lot of loose balls, always looking sharp around the box. And he's actually got more returns than Foden in recent weeks. And on top of this, he started 11 out of the 12 games that City has had this season. So that's a lot of starts considering how City players are always prone to rotation risk. And the upcoming fixtures look very good for Silva as well, so he can really prove to be quite a differential for us. And if you look at the pros, Silva is much cheaper than Foden, so it kind of frees up some funds for us to upgrade other areas of our team if we want to. And Silva also has been making a lot of smart runs into the box, almost like gambling on the opposition team, making mistakes, and if they do, he's there to mop up the chance, and that's how he's got his goal against Leicester and also the past weekend against Everton. And another point to note as well is how involved Silva is in Man City's play. So Foden started out in a false nine when he came back from injury, but in recent times he's moved out wide to the left. And if you look at Foden's heat map, he's actually more concentrated on the left. But when we look at Bernardo Silva's heat map, he's actually all over the place. He's getting involved in all the plays at different areas of the pitch. And what this kind of means is that there's a lot of chance for us to get returns from him, whether assists or goals, with how involved he is in the play. And also, if we look at the cons though, we do have to consider Pep Roulette. So it's quite obvious when it comes to City players how rotation risk is always a factor. So even though Silva has been getting a lot of starts, we never know with Pep. And the festive period with the hectic fixtures coming up, we never know what may happen. But I do feel he looks kind of decent, especially when he's gotten 11 out of 12 starts. So let's just continue hoping that he will start. And yeah, he's definitely someone to consider during this period as well. So next up we have Maxwel Cornet. Now this guy is someone who has been quietly scoring a lot of goals recently. And at the start, I'm sure a lot of us wrote him off because Burnley attacking assets are known to give us consistent attacking returns, but I do feel this player is really something fresh, something different from the usual Burnley attacking assets that we see. So he's gotten 5 goals in 7 appearances, and also Burnley's upcoming fixtures aren't the worst at all, with Wolves, Newcastle and Watford in the next 6 fixtures, so he really could be in for some returns in the coming weeks. So looking at the pros, Cornet is a really technical player, very skilled, and his clinical finishing has been on display for all of us to see, and that's why he's gotten 5 goals in 7 appearances. And his price range is very affordable at 6.1, which kind of gives us a very good budget midfield option if we're looking for something like that. But on the downside though, we will have to consider he is going away from Game Week 20 onwards to compete in the African Cup of Nations. So if we do bring him in, we probably will have to factor an additional transfer for him to move him out once he goes for AFCON. But another thing to note as well is how he hasn't seemed to be a full 90-minute player under Sean Dyche. Now, he's been subbed off in every single game that he's played for Burnley. And a couple of game weeks back, he was nursing this injury. So it's kind of hard to say if it's because of the injury that Sean Dyche is being careful with Cornet. But nonetheless, he does seem to be the kind of player that gets subbed off every game, at least for now. And so it's something for us to consider. If we do get him, we will have to accept that he's kind of a 60 to 80 minute player, but that doesn't mean we won't get any returns from him. And with the form he's in, I think we do stand a good chance if we bring him in. So next up, we have StMaximin. Now this guy has been Newcastle's standout performer for me this season. 3 goals, 3 assists, and with Newcastle in recent times, it's kind of been the case where if StMaximin can play well, they can get a result. If StMaximin can't play well, they probably lose the game, and that's how influential he is on Newcastle. So he has 25 shots, 23 crosses this season, and those are staggering numbers when we compare to anyone else in the Newcastle team. But something we do have to consider though is that he's slightly pricier than the other options that we have, so maybe Hwang, King and Dennis, etc. And also Newcastle's tough fixtures coming up after the Norwich and Burnley game stretches all the way to Game Week 19. So for this game week, we can bring him in as a short-term solution if we want to upgrade or downgrade our forwards but we probably will want to take him out after the Burnley game. And also one last thing to note about StMaximin is how Newcastle is still adapting to Eddie Howe's play, Eddie Howe's new system, and we never know how that will work out. It's kind of a wait and see situation with that. But at the end of the day, I still fancy StMaximin getting some form of returns against Norwich and Burnley, so definitely want to consider at this point in time. So the last player on our watch list this week is Christian Benteke. Now, he's also someone who's picked up quite a couple of goals this season, and I'm sure he's on our radar for some of us. So he has really good numbers if you look at his stats, 0.42 expected goals per 90, and on top of that, he has quite a low ownership of 2%, so he could be quite a differential for us considering his upcoming fixtures look really decent as well. And he's played every game this season, started 8 and came off the bench the other 4 times. And with creative players like Gallagher and Eze who came back from injury, he will have a pretty good supply of crosses and assists to help him increase his goal tally for the coming games. So honestly, I don't see why he can't get a goal or 2 in the coming weeks. And it's just something for us to note as well is how sustainable is Crystal Palace's goal scoring form. Now, they have been really good in front of goal the past few weeks. And the question then is, can they keep it up? And for the time being, they seem fine. But if they start to slip up and, maybe pick up a loss or 2, it really can hurt them and affect their confidence. But as of now, it does seem okay. And another thing to consider is how Benteke would take up a Gallagher slot in our team. Now, we don't really want to be having 2 Crystal Palace players in our team. And for me, I think it's really about bringing Gallagher or Benteke in. So for those who already have Gallagher, I probably lay off Benteke. But for those who have neither, this is something we can think about. Bringing Benteke in because he can definitely get a couple of goals this coming game week. So one to consider for sure. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope it was useful for you, and before you go, please help me out and give this video a like and also hit that subscribe button. Now we are trying to hit 100 subscribers before Christmas, so please help me out, make it a Merry Christmas and hit that button. So that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in another video.